To start something, a discussion, a small discussion, a final discussion on research proposal writing. All of you are my learned colleagues, and Dr. Amit will be helping me in sharing the PPTs and all that. Sitting in Itawa, I am discussing all these things from Aligarh. We are a little bit late because of some technical issues and some, so I will not elaborate much in the introduction part. I will straightforward go to the PPTs. And let me tell you from the very on the onset that all these deliberations are my own experiences, and with logic, I will share something with you, and with the hope that my academic fraternity, my friends, they uh, they not only learn but share their views also to strengthen my learning also. So, Professor Amit, please go with the first PPT without wasting any time. We are late already. Okay, this you can. Exclude, you can come to the next one. Straightforward to the business. Yes, yeah. I've just written only a small thing: research proposal, relevance and importance, academic Banjara example. Okay, so before starting the relevance and importance of not only research proposal but in fact writing your entire research thesis, I want to discuss with you an interesting example which I have developed my own. And this simple example will convey you many things about not only research proposal but also about writing the research thesis properly. Okay, what happens, that suppose I'm giving you an example, you solve a tedious problem of mathematics, okay? And in the process, you waste a lot of stationery, a lot of paper and all these things you waste in the process. And suppose your friend now wants to know the solution of that problem. Math is an interesting subject, and it's my own experience when I was in class 10th or 12th. I used to devote 10 or 15 days only on one problem. But once that problem is over, the entire exercise, the entire chapter used to get over. So suppose now your friend is also interested in knowing the solution, and what you do, you all those pages which you have wasted in preparing the rough work and the solution, you hand it over to that friend. Okay, let's take it and understand the solution yourself. Will it work? I don't think that it will work at all, because now this is the analogy I'm trying to draw in parallel, that what is the importance of writing and presenting your not only research proposal but ultimately the one day you have to write your research thesis also. So these pages where you have done a lot of rough work in the process of reaching to the solution is not going to help much your friend or any other audience who wants to understand the solution, the method which you have adopted to arrive at to or solving at that mathematics problem. Okay, so now what happens when you conduct a research? You devote 3 to 5 years, and you think that everyone knows it. This is you know about it properly, and it you may become casual while writing and presenting these things. So, what is the right approach? You must give your friend properly the writing, the procedure, the methods you have followed, and then hand it over to your friend, and he will understand it rather easily, rather than all that puzzling piece of papers we have handed. So there was this example, small example. I have highlighted the importance of presenting the things as crucial, as sophisticated, which you call research. And let me tell you that this presentation is more to do with the PhD research. Okay, so you will find that I will not discuss much about the budgeting and all that. It is a kind of where the academics part I will maybe more concerned about. Yes, Amit, we may move to the next further. Okay, these are the points which I will discuss with you with certain examples, certain discussion, and yeah. So this is a typical research proposal, and I have written intentionally the PhD research proposal. In fact, let me tell you that PhD is known as a technical report. All right, not in the sense that it is related to science and engineering. It is technical in the sense that it is the most comprehensive report possible. Okay, comprehensive in terms of the rules, regulations, the formalities, the technologies, and this and that. Whatever are the good components of a research report, they are present in a PhD thesis. That's why, be it the history PhD, be it the Hindi, they all fall in the category of technical reports. And I hope the term technical in this paragraph is clear to all of you. Why we call them practical? Practically, we call them technical. So these are the points which one by one I will take up. Is a typical research proposal format, or you can say the contents are 11. Some of them may be optional towards the end, like chapterization or maybe time plan, but most of them are the most crucial and essential part of any research proposal. Be it you writing for a PhD thesis or to get your research proposal approved by the concerned authorities, or be it for from sending some funding agency you're writing, these things will be there. So this is introduction, problem identification, all that. I'm not going on narrating all them. I'm just going straight forward to the first one, the introduction. Amit, next slide, please. Yeah. These are the things which I have written only as a hint for me, so that most of the maximum thing I may discuss with you. And it will be whatever written here is important, but whatever discussing with you is even more important and more relevant. Yeah. The first and foremost component, of course, of any research proposal is your introduction. And as I have written, it must have an ability to fetch the attention of the reader or the decision maker from the outset. Of course, this is a kind of prelude to your research proposal, the initial introductory part, and it must have all possible elements to fetch the attraction of those who are deciding the fate of your research proposal, whether it will be approved or not. The topic of the research, along with the general introduction of the main theme of the study, is introduced here. Here you can talk about the general introduction of the topic and the main theme and all these things. Third point is slightly interesting and important. A crisp thinking of the social relevance, identification of the problem, significance of the research adds colors to the research proposal introduction. If you ask me, introduction is a kind of optimum combination of these things, like significance is also there, some peculiar techniques you have used which are revolutionary in nature. You may also explain them. Okay, now a brief clarification of some complex terminology. Maybe there are topics which are slightly complex to understand by ordinary audience. You may explain them in brief, not only in brief, not more in brief detail. The peculiarity of the approach is we're just telling you, suppose you have adopted some technology or some methodology which is revolutionary, or not even revolutionary, but something which is new, or which you adopted in a new manner. All these things can be there. The title must reflect, yes, this is important, which is written in the bold. Keep in mind that your research is on population, not on sample. I will elaborate this point when I come to the slides which are there. After this slide, or maybe a few slides after. Look, sample is just a tool. So when you are framing your topic, please be careful. In your topic, it is the population which must reflect. This is other way around, that there is you can say, you can write within the bracket with a special reference to this, fala, fala, fala. But your population is something where on which you are researching, which you are conducting your research. So that must reflect in your topic. This is very important and crucial. Like I was talking about the previous slide, now I'm coming to problem identification. Yeah, I mean, slide is not visible. Problem identification I'm talking about. Okay, in the meantime, when slide.
अच्छा ओके सर आपकी आवाज़ ना
क्यों?
ठीक है देखो तो
You lost network connection, trying to continue to connect. Technical issue. Are you all listening me? Amit? Am I being...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. But PPTs are just coming and going. That's happening.
Sir, actually, some people are joining, and that is
Okay, all right. No need to worry. Yeah. So I was talking about problem was over. The last, which is written in the board, we will share this PPT with you. That was important. Then when you plan your topic, it must be population which must reflect here and not the sample. Okay, in brackets sometimes you can write with respect to fala fala to limit that. Okay, come to the problem identification. Here it is the problem identification, few final points or suggestions which can help you. The first one is just there can be various views. Generally, a scholar has a prior idea. There are two kind of eventualities, extreme eventualities are there. Mostly what happens, the scholar has a prior idea of his research problem as his prior work experience or interest guides him in this regard. The pupil advancing to pursue some PhD research, they are matured ones, and generally the genuine scholars, they have some prior experience, and based on that experience, they tend to select their research. This is the other way around. If supervisor happens to you can say suggest him or her his her own supervisor's interest areas of interest to pursue research in that. There's another way around. Now, review of literature, I've written the third point, at times can be of great help. Particularly what happens, we come across the kinds of scholars which are totally blind. As I told you, generally, if a genuine scholar has some experience, some idea that what are his interest areas, he is clear at least. Not in, if not in topic, at least in theme. The area or the theme is clear to his or her mind. But it may happen that there are scholars which have no clue whatsoever to how to select a topic or theme, or no idea. So review of literature can come to your rescue. You can do review of literature. Shodh Ganga is now available to you. You can go there and just going through certain researches, your own hidden interest area, which you have buried deep in the inside of you, may come to fore. May come to fore, and then you decide, yes, this is my area. Okay, the Amit was rightly telling, someone when joins, then this slide goes away. But then with my memory also, I keep discussing. So this way you can identify many problems related to society, reports in magazines, newspapers, social media can help scholars identify his research problems. Okay, this can also help you. They are sincere people, they keep on reading the issues of social relevance. I will discuss the social relevance in great detail when I come to the significance of the research. In the extreme case, the area of interest, the supervisor is, I've written it there towards the end. Because maybe your interest area is something else, but supervisor wants you to pursue in the area where he has interest. It has relative merits and demerits. In case research scholar is left to select the topic, of course the theme will be the broader theme will be the same, because like marketing management is your area, so your supervisor will be from same marketing management area, but there are plethora of areas within marketing management. So if your supervisor opts to motivate you to pursue research in his own interest area, then you will have the advantage of the experience of your learned supervisor. In case you go with your own, you will have your interest supreme, and it will be a challenge for your supervisor to guide you, and there will be an opportunity for supervisor also to learn new things. Okay, yeah, let's go to some more interesting and crucial one. Significance of this study. I was telling you in recent last slide that I will focus on social relevance. If you ask me one mantra, one best way to write your significance of this study, see the social relevance, what the social relevance is doing in your research, how you will justify that this research is relevant for society. Very recently, I was going through a news that social relevance is a must, and UGC is saying that you have to though it is a tradition, already it is in use, it is in vogue that people write social relevance, but now it is you can say pinpointed that you have to write the social relevance. The best way perhaps in the first point I have written the social relevance of the study. I have drawn this analogy from education. When in education, what happens whenever you are planning for any course curriculum, the central issue is the social relevance. I give you an example. I'm so rigid on this issue that suppose someone asks me to develop a syllabus and curriculum on how to create an atom bomb, how to manufacture or develop an atom bomb. You may say that atom bomb is not a child's play, but suppose I'm taking an extreme example to make you understand something. I will no go. I will not develop this syllabus at all. It is absolutely against society, and you know that what is happening with atom bombs and all where Pakistan trying to sell it to other countries. Anyway, this was just for the lighter note. So social relevance, if you keep in mind, you will very easily justify the significance of your study, and you will find it very easy to write it properly and then please the decision makers. Yes, this is the study which is going to help the society. Significance of research in the research proposal may include a description of some peculiar or laboratory approach. This I mentioned in introduction also. Your this also highlights your significance, something new you adapted, something good way, and something interesting way, or something which is not adopted earlier, or you are doing something new in terms of technique, method, process, whatever it may be. At times, the uniqueness approaches, this is also, I think, the thing which I've already discussed with you. Mentioning that research perfectly fits as a new addition to literature also, in a narrow sense, this can also be somewhere highlighted that look, this was the gap, though this is the part of review of literature, but to give different colors to significance of the study, it came to my mind that this can also be one point. That look, this was the area which was untouched in past, and I'm going to do it. So of course, it makes it relevant and significant. Review of literature, all of us know, so I'm not going to, that is you can say, definition of it. The past studies we study, and that we, an account of this, a proper account of this, we mention in the, how will we go about it, the review of literature? Yeah, review of literature, let me tell you one very interesting thing about review of literature. Chapter 2 is now, it is almost a customary all over the world in modern times, is devoted to chapter 2 of the thesis, to review of literature only. And in earlier days, maybe 1 decade or 1.5 decade before, this review of literature and your research methodology and introduction, they were all clubbed together in the introduction chapter itself. Now the introduction chapter of, I'm talking about India particularly, of 1.5 or 2 decades before, what used to be the introduction chapter of the thesis, the PhD thesis, is now divided into 3 chapters. First introduction, second review of literature, third research methodology. All right, let me make it one point here that these articles, magazines, newspaper writers, these are not in fact the part, must not be the part of review of literature. Review of literature means a sincere, good research, which has all the components, like it can be a good research paper or maybe good thesis or anything which fits into the scheme of being called as a research. Obviously, if there are objectives, there are hypotheses, there are methodologies, there are hypotheses that are tested. Now, all the procedures which I'm mentioning here are included. It is a good research which can be included in the review of literature. Yeah, this is interesting, which I've written in the board. All researches in the world are at least 2-stage designs. In what sense? Look, there is a controversy which I have written also, that some experts say that review of literature in itself is not a research at all. It is just a kind of exploratory or reporting kind of thing. What you have done, you have just accumulated the ideas of others and you have presented a kind of report. But it is equally true at the same time that review-based research papers are accepted and they are published in international journals. This is also other school of thought. So I'm putting all the divergent viewpoints of scholars regarding that. So some scholars say that review of literature in itself is not a research, but the interesting thing is this is the most and the essential part of all good researches in the world. That's why I've written all good researches in the world are at least 2-stage designs. The first and the compulsory one is review of literature. And other very important issue about it, that it runs to the maximum duration of the total duration of completion of a research. Principally speaking, it runs from the day your research is approved and the day when it gets finally in the bind form. In fact, it runs to infinity. The review of literature will never end in any area. After all, we are all human beings, not God at all. How narrow be the research gap, it will always be there. It can never be totally wiped out in the slightest of the areas of knowledge as far as we are within the domain of human beings and not the God in our own terms. Anyway, a proper review of literature eludes the probability of repeating the past riches. This is the first important, you can say, use or help to you. And the second one, which is more, you can say, conceptual or more technical,